Hello, Matt. My name is Hadassa. I've been married for 14 years to a wonderful man, and we've been waiting for the blessing of a child since then. When we got married, we thought something like conception was so natural and so easy. Shock on us when it didn't happen about 3 years into our marriage, and we kept wondering what the issue could have been. And when we went for checkup, I was found to be having a bit of issues, endometriosis, adenomyosis, fibroids, and cysts. This, I decided to pursue medication, even just to improve my quality of life, because all these conditions come with quite a bit of pain. And so, unfortunately, they also affected my fertility. And so, we are here, still trusting and surrendering, knowing that in God's time and according to His will, He will remember us. Waiting Rooms Trust was founded from a place of pain. The reason I say that is in our African culture, womanhood or motherhood is equated to the ability to have a child, to birth, or to carry a pregnancy to full term. And so when this was not happening, there was a lot of stigmatization coming from all around me. I desperately needed a support system because as much as my family, immediate family and my in-laws were very supportive, there comes a point in life where you actually need someone who's walked the same shoe to hear their testimony, to just talk and share your views. So having gone around, looked and found none, the only options available were actually out of the country. And this is not it's weird, but our experiences totally differ because in an African culture, you are nobody. You are completely not a woman without a child. So I needed someone who could relate. When I found this up, when I looked for this and found none, I decided to be that support system. So my husband and I went into a season of prayer, just asking the Lord to give us strength to be able to go out, share our testimony, and help us to encourage ourselves and also reach out to others. And so we founded Waiting Rooms Trust because at that point we were looking at it like we were waiting on God. We are waiting on God. And so Waiting Rooms Trust was founded. It's a lovely home. I call it a home because it meets all the requirements of a home for us, whereby we can share freely, encourage each other, and just be without fear of being judged. Why Waiting Rooms Trust? We are all waiting for God on something, not necessarily children and all, but everyone is waiting on God for something specific in life. It could be waiting for a breakthrough in terms of a job, or waiting for spiritual empowerment, or waiting for just any blessing, anything that we different people pray for. And so, Waiting Rooms Trust, the name comes from the desire to hold a child in our wombs. It reflects my belief that God, in His own time, remembered Hannah, remembered Sarah, remembered Elizabeth, all these women of the Bible who we relate with. They waited on God, and the Lord came through for them in His time and according to His will. Yes, I understand that there comes a point in life where we totally surrender. Even like if I use our example, myself and my husband, even though we know we are waiting on God, we are at a point of surrender. So not trying to twist God that if you don't do this, then we're going to give up on you or something like that. No, we are waiting from a point of surrender. What do I mean? Remember when Hannah went into the temple to pray, and Eli thought she was drunk, and she even asked, like, why would you drink so early in the morning and stuff like that? But Hannah said, do not take your maid servant for a wicked woman, for out of the abundance of her heart she spoke to God. And after leaving that temple, we are told that Hannah went home and took a bath, and she was happy. Her life, she had purposed that whatever was going to happen at that point, or since she had left everything at Jesus' feet, she was waiting on God in her own heart, but from a point of surrender. So I believe, just like all the women of the Bible, it is okay for us to pray that when in God's time and according to His will, He will remember us, give us a child in whichever way, whether through adoption, whether through natural birth. But even if it doesn't happen, He's still God, and we'll wait on him for whichever promise, whichever plan He has for us. So yes, it's a waiting season, which is completely and acceptable in my opinion. And I believe that you can surrender and wait from a point of surrender. Serving at waiting rooms trust has actually really changed me. By this I mean, I've grown in terms of knowledge of God. I've grown in terms of my walk with God. And we have grown also just knowing that our story has also been able to bring others to Christ. I remember when we started, we were so afraid. I was wondering, how are people going to take it? And to be honest, not everyone, even close to me, took this move positively. Because there are people who thought we went publicly to just get some attention from people. Little did they know that we were struggling. We were wondering if other people felt what you were feeling at that point. And honestly, looking back, I don't regret having founded this beautiful trust and home, because it has ministered to so many people far and wide. I've seen people saying that they were just about to commit suicide, but after listening to testimonies and all in our group, that they stopped completely, even just that thought. As a person, it has also encouraged me. There are moments when I'm really low. There are moments when I honestly feel like quitting and closing everything down and just saying, God, I have tried. You called us for this and we have done our bit. Now it's time to pass this to somebody else. But the funny thing is that every time such thoughts run through my mind, I'll wake up in the morning and I'll receive an email or a text from someone just telling me that, Hadassa, your testimony has encouraged me. Hadassa, your life has changed me. And somehow such things also encourage me in return. It's also been a real blessing just seeing lives changed. You know, the way Job had issues, but he still prayed for his friends. The way Joseph was in prison and he went through a difficult part, but he still prayed and he still trusted God, and God still came through for him. So when I think about waiting rooms and where we are now, as opposed to when we started or from the time we started, I see blessings in my life. I study my Bible more, I pray more, and that, you see, improves my relationship with Christ. I take time off and just unplug from everything and spend time alone with God. It doesn't mean that we are not tried as a marriage. It doesn't mean that there are no temptations for us or trials. But I know whom we have believed, and we are persuaded that He is able to do that which we have committed unto Him. That is words from a famous hymn. And one thing, if I were to be asked if I'd do this over and over again, or if I were to live this life and God asks me to run such a ministry, I actually call it a movement that has come out of pain. I'd say, here I am, Lord, send me. Because out of this pain, I have been encouraged as Hadassa. Out of this pain, we have been challenged as myself and my husband. Out of this, lives have been changed. And so, yes, this has encouraged me big time. Some people find that childlessness strikes at the heart of their relationship with God. But what feeds my love of God is knowing that childlessness or infertility does not define me. Knowing that God is, and just knowing that He has good plans for me, that is enough to make me sleep. Knowing that whatever it is He decides. You remember, like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, when they went into the fire, when they were asked to bow down, they said, "O King, we will not bow. and we trust that the Lord will save us. But even if He does not save us, then we'll still trust Him. I still believe in that God who has plans for me. And if this, one of the dangerous prayers I usually make, that Lord, may you do whatever it takes to save me. And sometimes when we pray about this, my husband and I pause and ask ourselves, do we know how dangerous that prayer is? But if being like this is what the Lord is going to use to save me for eternity, then I respect that. If this is happening because there's a purpose, I believe there's a purpose for everything we go through in life, then it's okay, Lord. And He says in His word that if we who are evil know how to give good gifts to our children, how much more will our Heavenly Father give us also the gifts when we ask of Him? The Lord, we have prayed about children. We have asked the Lord to bless us with a child in His time and according to His will. So my part is just to wait, knowing that we have passed it on to Him and He knows. Yes, sometimes I know the moments when I'm shaken, mostly when I'm in pain. Sometimes I find myself trying to negotiate with God, like, Father, take one. Then if you can't fix, if you're not going to give us a child, then take away my pain. Then I come back and I count my blessings and I see just how good God has been to us. So my relationship with God is at a level whereby I know that He is, and His plans are good, and He knows what He's doing. And just like He remembered the women in the Bible, Hannah, Sarai, and all, He will come through in His time and according to His will. And whatever direction this takes, He is God. And knowing that He has good plans, why would I even complain? Yes, sometimes we complain because we feel that He's delaying, or maybe He's not doing it right. You know, those moments when we surrender to God and end up picking back our issues. Yes, sometimes I know we do that as human beings. I have done that too as Hadassa. But then I ask myself, if I pick back this issue, where am I taking it really? What can I do? Conception is divine. Regardless of the direction one takes, conception is divine. So there is only so much I can do. And if I allow that to affect my relationship with a Father who I know loves me, it is my loss. So I know God because He's seen me through so many times. He's been so faithful to us. He's seen me through surgery 4 times. I've come out alive. Why would I doubt Him? He's provided when we had nothing. Why would I doubt Him? I know God, and my relationship with God is intact because I trust Him.